Osio, Namaste, Alafia, Hotel, Peace, Shalom, how you doing? Hello, Bonjour, oui, and all that other good stuff, man. I hope everybody doing good, feeling good for no reason at all. In whatever moment or circumstance you may find yourself. I was sitting here contemplating and thinking. Well, actually, I wasn't sitting here contemplating and thinking. It just came to me in the process of once I sat down and tapped back in. You have ever heard the term, it get greater later, for whoever I'm talking to, and why I'm led to say this. If you have ever heard the term, it get greater later, because of what you may be going through right now. Just hold on, because it do get greater later. Sometimes it ain't no telling what we may have to go through and make it through. To say that we've been through it, and a lot of times a lot of things that we have to go through and make it through to say that we've been through it. Even though we went through it, it don't necessarily always be for us. It's gonna be in a lot of cases. If you ain't realized this in your life already, we done went through things for those who gonna come into our lives that went through those same things, but who haven't necessarily healed from it or come into the higher understanding of those things that we have experienced, regardless of how good, bad, or indifference that we have. So we are able through that. We are able to be a tower of light, in somebody else. Dark times, you hear me? So it do get greater later, and part of the process until it get greater is learning how to be thankful, learning how to be appreciative, and learning how to be in gratitude, for the things that you do have. Not, it ain't about what you don't have, but for the things that we do have. Learning how to be gratitude for the things that we do have, until we can do better, and part of doing better, is knowing better, because we all know what they say. When you know better, you do better, and sometimes to do better, we gotta go through what we gotta go through, and in order to get through it, we gotta hold on. You hear me? So whoever I'm talking to, hold on, because peace don't need no proof. And evaluate who you have around you. Evaluate who you attaching your energy to. Evaluate who you really got in your life and who really for you in your life, and not because they for you in your life, and not in your life because you always there for them. Come on now, y'all know I'm telling the truth, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but this is what the ancestors want me to do. But before I go any further, I want to, give thanks to Source, Divine Source. I want to give thanks to the ancestors. I want to give thanks to the collective, and I want to give thanks to myself, and I want to give thanks to yourself. You hear me? I want to give a shout out to Galveston, Texas, and most of all, I want to give a shout out not only to the city of Texas, but to Houston, Texas. For y'all who've been around, y'all know I've been making mention, for the last couple months about the Fade event, and just to give y'all a little attention. When you pump, get thanks, let the time roll low. I ain't held jungle, except flow. Spitting stories that the textbook still get shows. Godly like a torch from ancient rights. Aromas like prayers to the ocean's hands. Here we live. Ain't a torch tale, it's like mine. Where the jazz horns been
times, spirits alive. Forget the love, sweetest dancing star. Ready to bars, dripping culture and bars.
I want to give a shout out to Legendary Top Cat, OCO. I want to give a shout out to the BCU family. You know, it's amazing when people can come from all parts of the world, you know, not knowing each other and come together in love and unity, you know, have a good time, eat, dance, line dance, and, you know, celebrate, you know, so forth and so on, politic, network, you know, make new connections, you know, genuine connections, everything organic, you know, yeah. And there's no incident, no violence, no, not even an argument, you know, just laughter and conversations, you know, throughout the whole event, you know, from building to the tents in the lot, in the parking lot, and everything, you know, just love in the atmosphere. So, you know, definitely shout out to the city of Houston, Texas. Legendary Big Chief Top Cats, BCU, my extended family, so forth and so on, man. You know, it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to witness. You hear me? Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to witness. But back to the message, you know, because if the show must go on, then the work, there's a necessary work that's required, you know, for the show to continue, you know. So we back at it, you know. But it's good to embrace all the times, you know. But it's definitely good in our right now to embrace the good ones, and make more memories of good times, you know, cause in the new cycle of things, we shouldn't have too much, you know, negatives to talk about unless it's for instruction, you know. I repeat, we shouldn't have too much negative to talk about unless it's for instruction. If negativity ain't being used for instruction or to teach others through how the negativity is being used, then ain't nothing negative got no business coming up, you know. Unless it's show, you know, if it ain't showing us nothing, it ain't got no business coming up, because peace don't need no proof. You hear me? And regardless of how things show up, whether we call it good, bad, or negative, whatever, those only title and labels. You know, uncomfortable times is about character development. You know, it ain't about how we label what's going on. You know what I'm saying? More than it's about, you know, what's going on, trying to show us through us by us understanding what the why is behind what's going on in the first place. But regardless of the matter, uncomfortable times is about character development. You know, uncomfortable times is about character development, and if we can saturate this into our mental a little bit more deeper, then when we find ourselves in uncomfortable times, they won't be so uncomfortable to us. I repeat, uncomfortable times is about character development. So that means our experiences are our teachers, and in ways that we get an opportunity to teach ourselves through the experience being had, by recognizing that we have a choice to either do what's already been done, or we have a choice to undo what's already been done by doing something different than what's been done through the work that we do within ourselves. Is anybody listening? See, what we do within ourselves is that's important. Let me back it up. Because I heard myself, so I ain't gonna act like I ain't hear myself, you know, because this ain't about really y'all listening to me, you see, because every speaker, every teacher, every leader know, you know, every student know, you know, that the first lesson is applied to the one who's giving it. So I ain't gonna act like I ain't hear that. You hear me? And I ain't gonna act like y'all ain't paying attention, cause I don't need none of y'all to come back and try to check me on something later, cause I know y'all be listening. You hear me? But it's about what we do within ourselves, because what we do within ourselves will extend to generations to come after us, right? In the same way that it reaches back to those that came before us. So anytime y'all have heard me mention ancestor business, or you hear me mention ancestor business, that's what it means. You see, this is and that's what it is. It's bigger than me. I'm consciousness, you know, but it's bigger than me. I got an extended family, BCU, and it's bigger than us. It's ancestor business. We don't meet people by mistake. Any experience that we have, we don't have it by mistake. A lot of times we just don't understand why we having the experience, regardless of how it show up, good, bad, or indifference. It's a reason. It's a higher reason. You see? And character development is just one reason why we have, you know, why we have uncomfortable times. But there's many other attributes, you know, that we develop through uncomfortable times, through challenging times. You see? But what we do within ourselves is what's going to make the difference when we're going through anything that we go through. You see? That's how we got here in the first place. You know? And the only thing that the times that we experience it now, you know, is for the purpose of only trying to show us that it's time for us to remember. If you don't know your why, that's why. You know? You know, if I ask you what some things you should not take for granted, what would your answer be? See? What would your answer be? Because we should have a whole, I won't say we should have a long list, you know, of things that we should not have, that we should not take for granted. But we should have a list. Some may be longer than others, you see. But that's a list that all of us could take the time to get our pen and our pad and our journal or our diaries, you know, and make the time to ask ourselves that question. If you ask yourself what some things you should not take for granted, what would your answer be? See, to be able to answer that question, you got to check your ego at the door. And the reason that you got to check your ego at the door, because every emotion is a wave of energy passing through your energy field of awareness. So in order to answer that question to yourself from the highest place within yourself, you see, for you to get the most optimum benefit from it, in truth, you see, you got to check your ego at the door. This type of frequency don't care about how big you is. This type of frequency don't care about how strong you is. This type of frequency don't care about how pretty you is, how thick you is. You know, how tight your waist is, how tight is not, what your butt look like. This type of frequency don't care about that. Just energy and vibration. You either in it and it's moving you forward, or you out of it, or it's pushing, or it's leaving you behind. Ain't no in between. Self-work. The shadow work. See, life is something we don't come from out of like we go back into it. I repeat, life is something that we do not come from out of like we go back into it. The only way, the only way we go back into life, like we come from it, is by doing a lot of soul searching, by doing a lot of soul work, by doing a lot of shadow work while you here. Cause it gotta be why you here. You can't do it once you leave. You see, once you leave, you're already in judgment about how you judge yourself through everything else while you was here. Message, rewind it if you need it. You hear me? Cause I'm translating. You heard? Life is something that you don't come out of like we go back into it unless you do a lot of soul work while you're here to undo any external influence that you wouldn't have agreed to, you see, had you not had to unfold into the consciousness that you are, that you have become, and that you always been by the experiences of those that we came through, you know. But it's a beautiful thing, you know. You know. And it's amazing that this divine component in us, this is the divine source in us, you know, self-generates through us, because we made in the image and likeness, you know. So if it self-generates, then we self-generate. That's why we have kids, you know, in our image and likeness. You know, so as self-generated beings, we had a divine creative intelligence within us, you know, and the wisdom to instill, you know, the wisdom to instill, you know, everything that we come into contact with, you know, with the cosmic programming within us, if we have activated it and an operation and demonstration of it within ourselves, you know, we can affect the whole grid. And even if we ain't operating from that space, we're affecting the whole grid, you know. Some of us just don't figure it out, you know. Some of us just don't figure out the you know, how to configure this configuration before others, you know. So we able to we able to to be a watcher, you know. We able to be a demonstrator and instructors of how it's done, you know. We all individuals carrying, you know, a collective resonance, a cosmic resonance, to be brought into coherence in our lives. Some people call it alignment, getting into alignment, you know. We all carry, you know, and we come into it through our experiences. That's what they for. Nobody said this was gonna be sweet, man. And if you're expecting it to be sweet, why is you here? Cause you gotta go through something if you're gonna be something. No pain, no pain, no gain, no gain. Ooh, no pain, no pain, no gain. Yeah. So we're gonna keep going, man. No matter how hard it get, you know, we're gonna make it all it's worth, you know, and we're gonna use it for all it's worth, you know, to make us whole, you know, cause not that we ain't whole, you know, but if you're not in your wholeness, you know, then you need to be made whole. You heard? And the way to do that is through balance, through integration, through emotional work, emotional healing, emotional maturity, emotional analyzation and examination, feeling our feelings, allowing our feelings to move through us, and not attaching to a feeling, attaching to the sensation, or the adrenaline that come with the feeling, because we'll hold on to negative thinking because how it fueled us. I'm familiar with that too. So we gotta put all these things under the microscope. We gotta put ourselves under the microscope like never before. It's the last quarter, baby. we got one more month, for 2026. So as I said as I've been saying for the last 3-4 years, we're gonna finish this one better than we finished the last one. You hear me? We're gonna be better than we never been. You heard? I am an eternal being, and I greet you as such. Life's too precious to be here, and not at some point really come to a space where we examine and check our life for what it is and what it's not, our values, our morals, our integrity, and whether we have it or whether we not, or rather not, so forth and so on, and do everything that we can to get ourselves in balance where we not, in a way that we don't allow anything that has the potential to be a barricade to become a roadblock. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. You hear me? As always, it's been an honor, it's been a pleasure. Remember, to put yourself together, you must rip yourself apart. You heard? Only you. Only you. I'm just a messenger. So don't be angry at the message. I'm only a messenger. I have to do the work too, and my messages apply to me too. But I'm just allowing it to flow to me, through me, in me, and as me, in order to give it to you. You heard? But it's up to you. And remember, peace don't need no proof. Peace don't need no proof. Because only you know where you lost yourself. And if only you know where you lost yourself, then only you know where you gotta go to pick yourself up. Message. Once again, I just say things, to help us collect the pieces, man. So may I have said something to give you another piece to yourself. And until we do it again, thanks for the likes, shares, comments, questions, donations, purchases. I've been away 4 days, which y'all know, because I ain't been posted. But I do have to get back with some of y'all and get some orders out. I know that. Thank y'all for being patient. I appreciate you for not, bombing my emails or my texts. I appreciate your patience. I acknowledge that. You hear me? And we'll see how the ancestors lead me to reward it. But until we do it again, it's been an honor, a pleasure. I'm known as Sawu. Be you, how you be you. Peace, family.